Hello folks, welcome back to part 2 of this week's season ending episode, and we've got our championship title winning manager. We're just down from doing the architects sorting out the statue for out the front. Not sure what the statue's of, but so Darren Mullen, Darren, very welcome on for your, I think this is now your 4th appearance in the podcast.
Do I get a prize on this?
No, you didn't get your hat-trick ball for the third one, so but yeah, we thought it was you sound so excited to be here. It's been a heavy few days, folks. So forgive us if this doesn't have the same
excitement levels just might be the same for a while here.
If I don't have the same energy levels as previous, we're all getting past 2-day hangovers. Yeah. But yeah, no, we thought it was obviously it'd be remiss of us not to have you on our final episode of the season. Firstly, obviously, congratulations. Well deserved. It was great to see, and it was a nice way to wrap it up sort of on Saturday in the manner that we did. I suppose just what's your, now that everything's sort of died down a touch, I suppose how do you sort of look back on it now, and how do you sort of, if you can remember much over the last couple of days?
I know.
Yeah, is it delight or relief?
Oh, I'd say relief. Yeah, it is. I got that point where it's relief. You get through a whole range of emotions throughout the season. At the start, you have your aspirations to win the league title, and we say that from the start. And then you have a great start, a bit of a lull. But even with the 6 games in, people are saying to you, "Oh, it's over.
Yeah,
you're done. We'll beat everybody."
It was wrong.
Yeah, we'll beat it. Well, we didn't want it the way you thought.
We were only behind once from November, so I'd say that's walking the league.
But everybody from then on, from then was saying, "Yeah, you'll win it. Give it one, no matter where you went." And it's great, it's great to have that support. But at the same time, that itself brings pressure with it, which is all part of the process. But again, you pick yourself up again, you go on another run, then you're sort of pegged back. So there's a huge range of emotions in there, and it does get to the point where you're thinking, look, we can't blow this. We've been the best team in the league. We've been at the top for the vast majority of it. So to get it over the line, it's just complete relief. And then the joy on Saturday, seeing everybody and just chilling out. And we had a moment in the change rooms with the coaching staff and Dorothy and Gaff and that as well. We all sat down at a drink, and we thought, this is nice and calm, and glad you could hear the boys all going mad in the change room and stuff. We were just in there on our own. So that was a nice moment to have. But in a word, yeah, relief.
And you've done it before. You got us to the Premiership not too long ago. But how much better is it, or sweeter for you, is it the fact that you've gone up as champions now?
I think they're two different scenarios. The first time was that complete euphoria because we weren't supposed to be there in terms of a playoff. We were just coming up and maybe consolidate, and then we get to that, and you're delighted to be in a playoff and get up. And that night in Carrick, I've said it numerous occasions, it will live long in the memory. If we had ended up in the playoffs, yeah, I would have cried. because
the position that you were in.
It would have been nearly deflating then, and very tough to pick, because you wanted the trophy, you wanted to go up as champions, you'd been up before, so it would have been a tough one to take. And I'm sure Anna, or I haven't spoken to Kieran, they're delighted that they're at the playoffs, because they've come up and done really well to get to the playoffs, so they're delighted and they've got that bounce. We were had a different sort of mentality.
Looking just going back to Saturday, I always thought it was only after the game I realised this was Derby giving us a guard of honour, and sort of looking back on that, because officially the league wasn't won. It was sort of it's rare to sort of see that, where yes, the league is all but won, but a team giving you a sort of guard of honour, which is a nice touch, to be fair. But how sort of important was it to finish off? You probably didn't expect to win 6-1. But how important was it to finish off sort of with a flourish in front of a big crowd, score plenty of goals, and just be sort of a fun day? I feel like, particularly in the second half, where it was enjoyable on the pitch, and then you get all the celebrations, and there wasn't a case of we're drawing 1 each here, or we've lost, or it's been a scrappy game or something like that. How important was that to do that?
Well, just even on the Tommy contacted me. I spoke to him on the Friday night, just bits and pieces with Saturday, and he said, "Do you mind if we do a guard of honour?" And I said, "No, that's fine." And then the more thought, you're thinking, we haven't won it yet again. But so I spoke to the players before it and said, "Look, Derby are giving us a guard of honour here. I could have said no, but I'm not, because we will be champions, and it's a reminder to go out and play like a team that's going to be champions." So that was the mentality from that end of it. Going out, we missed a couple of really good chances early on. Lorcan probably should have scored, I think someone else. But once we get that early goal, it settled everybody down, and it ended up a really good day in terms of how we played and how we finished. And it was good to finish the season how that's more reflective of how we can play, because there's a couple of games there we've stumbled and hadn't played well, or hadn't got the final touches to finish games off. So you couldn't really ask for a better day.
I suppose the difficult thing coming into the split was, we knew we kind of needed 2 to 3 wins. I suppose after the draw at Anna, 2 wins would have sealed it, and it didn't happen until the last game. But is it almost better that we won it at home? I mean, I know you had text saying that was all part of your master plan, but was it better maybe winning it at home and for everybody to be there and enjoy that?
The way it worked out, yes, at the time, because even up in Ballymallard with 5 minutes to go, you think, just get the draw and see it out and and enjoy everything. But it was set up perfectly for it. If someone said to you, you're going to win the league, the last game at home 6-1 in front of a massive crowd, that's set up perfectly for us, and it's created great memories for everybody that has been there. It's been a tough season, a long season, on myself and the coach staff and the players and that. So you're glad to see the fans coming running out and the players celebrating and everything. It's moments like that that make it all worthwhile, because it's very tough to get to that point.
But even when you look at Dergview beating Ards in the final day, that was so important for us to actually have the game down here.
Yeah, it would have been, to have to go to Ards, you're not going to get the same atmosphere, you're not going to get the same crowd. The celebrations obviously wouldn't be the same. So it was set up for us, but you have to earn that right, to get to that point, and we have earned that, and I don't think anybody could argue that we weren't the best team in the league this year.
Is there a defining moment throughout the course of the season? I mean, not necessarily a turning point, but something where you went, okay, right, this team sort of clicked, or this squad, we're in such a good position here. Was there any particular moment or a match that you can sort of pick out that had such a significant impact in the season?
Dergview away during the week. Yeah, the 2-0, because we knew in the conditions as well, at one stage they weren't going to play the game, so we knew that it was going to be a tough game up there. They'd been going well, hadn't been beaten in a while, and if you're going to Derby on a cold Tuesday night type thing, it's pretty much like the Stoke thing. No disrespect to Derby, it's a great club and a great pitch and everything, but it's in terms of distance wise and going there midweek, that's one of the tough ones. So once we went there, a really professional job that night, I thought, we're if we can just maintain this, we're in home straight. So that game, and then a late equaliser against Anna, the importance of it as well. So there are probably 2 that immediately come to mind. I'm sure there are others, but they're the 2 that stand out for now.
And is there a particular highlight, something, it may not have been, a goal, it may not have been a game, it may have been something that sort of happened throughout the season that you look back and makes you sort of smile? I mean, obviously the end of the season celebrations and all the rest of it, but is there on the side from that you can pick
probably even on Saturday, it's John Jones' brother, I think it's Davey, he was at the bar, and he came up and he tapped me on the shoulder. I was waiting to get a beer, and he tapped me on the shoulder and he just shook my hand and he says, "Your dad would have been proud of you." And he walked away, and he played football for him. Dad,
right,
was
there you go.
Manager. So that sort of took me a wee. I wasn't expecting it, but at the same time, it gave me a wee moment to think of. Right, I'm sure he would have been, because I went up to his grave on Friday, and I'd say, look, if you pull any strings, tomorrow's the day to do it. So I'd say that moment.
And looking forward to, and I appreciate that come off the back of a few days celebrating, and we're only I haven't even thought about next season yet. I'm sure you obviously have, and you've been thinking about it from before Saturday. But I mean, how do you look at if you sort of look at 2019 season, and then look at maybe the differences, whether it's the differences in the club here, the playing staff, or experiences that you've learnt from that time, take in the next season? Is there anything you sort of going, right, well, I know what I would do differently, or we did this well, or anything like that?
Yeah, I've said it before, the recruitment, you have to get it right, especially going to that level. Hindsight, we didn't get it right the last time, so we need to make sure that whoever we bring in is fit to hit the ground running, if you like, because it's making sure it's not just a case of bringing in 4 or 5 players for the sake of it. There have to be players that are going to come in and that'll do a good job for you. So that's going to be important over the next 3 or 4 weeks. We have our targets, whether we get them or not, it's another thing, because you're up against the difference. The reality is the difference in the budget is absolutely massive, but hopefully people from the outside will look at it and go, yeah, Newry's a good club, it's a good place to be. If you're good enough, no matter what age you are, we'll play you. So first of all, it's a case of keeping who we have, because there's obviously interest in the players that you have at the minute. We'll have meetings over the next week, hopefully tidy that up, and then be a case of adding whatever number of players, because I think every agent in Africa and Greece and everyone has been emailing me over the past thing about taking the next George Weah or whatever, Messi or whatever type thing. I'm sure every manager gets them, but it's like, oh, here's another one.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to come on trial and that. So it's just making sure you get the right players. But we have the basis of a good squad there at the minute. It's just a case of adding to it, and with the right players.
Do you find it sort of, or do you envisage maybe finding it not easier to bring in players, but players are more sort of open to coming down here maybe than the last time we were in the Premiership, because they've seen the sort of journey the club's on, they've seen how the club's gone, yes, get relegated unluckily, and then sort of built back up and then won the league in such fashion this season, that players maybe are more open to coming down here and see different players from out of town coming down and enjoying it down here. That may be beneficial.
I hope so, because if I'm looking from the outside into the club, I would think that's a really well-run club. Even in terms of the social media, should it be this or that, bits and pieces that you do, it's really well done. It's a good family club. There's a good vibe about it. The fans have been terrific, and if you talk to any players that have been here, even Mark Kelly, when Mark had said he always thought he had this perception of Newry, and he said it exceeded all his expectations. And you like to hear bits and pieces like that. There are very few people who have anything bad to say about Newry. So if you're a footballer who wants to come and play, in a good side and hopefully good football and try and make us an established Premiership team, then for me Newry's a good place to be.
Yeah, and
you've heard it here first.
You heard it here. All the agents get in touch. You've said it numerous times, and everybody's talked about it this season. But I think the fan base has really stepped up a level, and just kind of the noise and the numbers that they travel in. But how important is that going to be as we go into the Premiership next year, where maybe you're not going to win every week like we have been in the Championship, and you're going to have more tests? How important will the fans be? Sorry, I still can't speak from the weekend.
All right, they're crucial, and they have been. And there was a moment on the game on Saturday where the shed end was bouncing.
Yeah.
Was bouncing, and I said to it was Gary and Damien the line, said, look, when have you seen this happening? And then when they all run out at the end, and it does, and it's grown this year. It has been absolutely brilliant, and we really do need them. When the away games, when you see the fans there shouting, it's something you can say to the players. Look, lads, if we're not playing well in the first half, there's people who have travelled here from Newry, and they're in large numbers, so we need to make sure we lift our game. But it's over the weekend, you can notice it even just about the city. We were out on Sunday, and then I was out with my wife as well and the players, and we went into the Phoenix. My daughters were there, and they were embarrassed because their mum and dad were there, obviously, and they're too old to be here, but people were coming over and shaking a hand and stuff, and they're sitting throwing their eyes up. If there's ever a place where you get taken back down to earth, it's at our dinner table. My daughters will never live there. So we left there, and then we went to the Bosco Club, and people were in and they're congratulating you there. It's great. And Casey was the last one to go, so got him a taxi, put him in, sent him back to Belfast, and Diane said, right, come on, we'll go here, and we'll take. He says, I'll maybe have you to himself for 5 minutes here, we'll walk across. So we're walking across, and then somebody shouting from, I think it was Bridge Bar or something, Darren Mullen's Blue and White Army. And then we got the fire trucks, and there was a fire trucks there, and they were coming over and congratulating and everything. And then she said, do you think we'll get the taxi stand here up without anybody? So no, it's great. She was laughing. It's great. So we got the taxi stand, and there was a young guy come along, and slightly worse for wear, just a wee bit worse than me, slightly worse for wear, and I say, all right there, young fella, and I just put him up against
it was Decky Carvel, was it?
I sent Decky home, and I said, all right there, young fella, and he lifted his head, and he looked, and he just burst into Newry songs for the next 10 minutes, and you could see.
I love how you name check every Newry institution there.
It was just right there, but it's brilliant. Like that to that extent, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
The last time, you have a lot more buy-in from it now, and I think that's it's a credit to everyone involved in the social media as well. But it's brilliant. It's great for the city. They've all bought into it, and long may it continue.
That was one thing I put up on whenever I finally sobered up yesterday, and I put up a Facebook post and said it's amazing how much it was something actually taken from your centenary video. Something that can mean so many or so much to the few or whatever it is. Something that I can't remember. But basically, it was something that sort of our way club, because you still see it when you've been about the club for years, how much it means to so many people. When you're seeing so many even new fans, lapsed supporters, that are coming back, and people that know a lot of players, know you that maybe wouldn't have been down as regularly in the past, but are now starting to come back now. I mean, it's a proper sort of club. I mean, it's before we obviously got promoted, it was Premiership in every facet. I mean, just to sort of expand on what Ali was saying, I mean, last time we were in the Premiership, I don't keep harking back that whenever we lost, what was it, like 19 games by 1 goal or something. And it does become more difficult. Becomes more difficult for everybody, because you don't have that sort of celebratory sort of atmosphere that we've had. How do you sort of, looking back on what you've learnt from 2018, 2019, if that happens again, hopefully it doesn't, how do you sort of approach that, or will you do things differently in that regard?
It's difficult to say because
you don't want it to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, you're preparing for that not to happen. We need to make sure that we're tighter in terms of defensively as well. Now it's not a case of going and parking the bus. It's not how I would want to play it or how we can play it, but you have to have that plan B, plan C to make sure keep it tight for a certain amount of time, and hopefully with the players that are going, I think we're better equipped to do that with the players that we have. With a lot more pace in the team and a lot more options in there. So that's something we need to be prepared for, because if you're going to leave yourself wide open in the Premiership, you'll get badly punished. But we'll approach every game in the right way. If you look at the Ballymena game and the Glentoran game, Warren Point games, we had a game plan set up for that. The good thing is now that I'll be able to see more of the opposition, if you like, because you don't get to see the footage as much as the teams you're playing against in the Championship. So you'll see that before you go and play, and you'll set yourself up accordingly. But whilst it's daunting, it's a reward, and you have to look at it and go, yes,
absolutely.
Go in with no fear. We want to be here. We've fought so hard to be here. So to go there and think, oh God, what's going to happen now? That's whilst it is going to be daunting, go and enjoy it. And we'll see it. If we're good enough, brilliant. If we're not,
so be it.
Yeah. Is there? Could we renew the passports and buy some suitcases? Do you think this time next year?
Are we in the Europe already? Are we gone?
See, he's gone from we're in the league by a mile. Then we're in Europe now. He says it's the problem you get here.
I think we're playing Gareth and Ally in pre-season. We want to get the boat across.
Looking in terms of, I know there's been so much talk this season about the young players in the squad. Like James Taylor, John McGovern, Noel Healy, Lorcan Ford, Brian Healy. all those sorts of guys. But I think particularly the last maybe 6 weeks to a couple of months, as well as throughout the season, but particularly that latter period, like say Darren King, John Boyle, particularly two 36-year-olds, Steve Maguire, 37-year-old or 36-7-year-old behind them. I mean, how good have the two lads in centre back been? Because they've rarely put a foot wrong probably in the last couple of months, at the time when you really probably needed a wee bit of a guiding hand sort of thing from your players on the pitch. I mean, particularly Engine, I suppose, just been phenomenal. Like, I think he really led the team, wasn't he?
You don't like to single players out, and it's not too often to do it, and especially before the game. But a single. You can't single two players. A single.
You just won the title. You do whatever the fuck you want.
I spoke about the two lads before the game on Saturday, and to say for two lads at 36 years of age, they were an absolute credit to themselves. Because I watched the game back on Friday night, the Ballymena game. They were absolutely superb. Yeah. They're brilliant. It's alright having the young lads coming through, but they need someone to look up. They need someone to guide them. And you couldn't ask for two better role models in that regard from Engine and Boiler in that regard. And then you've Moner is absolutely brilliant. Carville has played his part. Stevie obviously 37, and not only are the super footballers, they're real good lads in the change room, and you have to have that. And the amount of people that say that Newry does, we've always had a really good change room. From players that have left, Cusey and Mully and Timmy and all those guys. We've been very, very lucky in that regard, and you have to have that because when things aren't going well and when it's going to be tougher next year, if you don't have the right character, sometimes the change room can nearly turn on each other, turn on the manager, whatever it may be. So you need to have players in there to say, look, yes, we've been here before, this is difficult, but we need to stick together, and those are the players that you need.
And how important, I suppose, flipping that and going to the young players, I mean, they're obviously players of the ability that we have at the age we have, the age profile. They're going to be looked at by other clubs, and they're going to be, they're going to be tempted or whatever it may be. How important / difficult, I suppose, is it going to be able to keep those lads that have performed so well over the course of the season? And I'm including Roran Casey in that's come in on loan from Cliftonville and has become a fan's favourite and a player's favourite. How important is it that you can keep as many of those as possible, and how difficult will it be to do that?
Well, there's obviously interest in the lads, and I've said when you're doing well, you're going to get interest in your players. So that comes with the territory. For me, going to the Premiership, and the age that they are. It's different if they're 26, 27, people coming in, you say, look, I'll go and get my move. But for lads that are 19 to go to the Premiership, not having been there before, to stay where they are, make their mistakes, and be allowed to make your mistakes, go and test yourself in the right manner. And then if you're doing really well in the Premiership with us, then by all means we would love to go and see the lads doing well and winning Irish League titles and Irish Cups, and to say we played a part. But the discussions I've had with some of the lads, just stick with it for a while. Come and enjoy your football. You're coming back to pre-season, to a change room that to the management and coaching staff that you go and enjoy it. Test yourself in the right manner and in the right environment, and then we'll take it from there, because it can be very easy to jump into a move at a Premiership club, and if you're not playing well or not scoring, not doing well, you're out of the team then sometimes at that. And you can understand it, because if a team's going for a league title and a young fella's coming in, he's not going to get 5 or 6 games in a row and not play well or not score, whatever it might be. So that's the discussions we're having. There's never a case of keeping someone for the sake of it. So I'm hopeful now in the next few weeks we can sort a few things out with the players that we have first, and then add to it.
And just lastly, given the fact that there's been there was good solid 2 days drinking involved there over the weekend, I'm much looking forward to the 21st of May and the awards night for another night. I'm
honestly at this stage just looking forward to one night's proper sleep, because I should have just slept in the bath last night. Honestly, it was just wet, constantly woke up. You're sweating. It's not good for a man. If ever I felt. You've seen the back of the Democrat today shows me as Luke Skywalker. I think yesterday I would have been like Yoda. That's the shape I would have been in. Can
I point out when I texted Darren to see when he come on the podcast, he didn't even reply as to whether you come down. His first text was, "I'm just trying not to cry the state of this hangover." When he 50?
End of June, and thankfully we're going.
Oh, you're right enough.
Yeah, going to Italy. We're going to go to Italy for 10 days
with Sparky and Jerry. I
know I'm not allowed to go anywhere without Sparky. So I'm going away to get my head cooled for 10 days. So yeah, whilst the 21st I'm sure will be a great night, it's just not that appealing at the minute.
Darren, thanks man, and congratulations. It's been a fantastic season, and generally it's just been amazing. It's been great to be a part of it, so thanks a million.
No, and look, fair play to you too. This is brilliant what you do for the club. I know the players and the fans like it, so well done. Keep it up.
Cheers. Thank you.